12.5 billion hectares, 12% of the world land area used for crop production. Around 65% of entire workforce relies on agriculture. Accounts for 70% of total freshwater withdrawal in the world, mostly irrigation. Irrigated agriculture represents 20% of cultivated land and 40% of global food production. The biggest countries in agriculture are leaders in production of wheat, rice, pulses, etc. The top agricultural nations are China, India, USA.
Okay, thank you. Put your hands together for her. Okay, so like I said, I want to be very, very fast. So is there anything that is very difficult to understand with what you just read? I know the place of concern now is more than 1.5 billion hectares, right? That's 12% of the world land area used for crop. It's very, very simple. So 12% of the entire land area, forget the water, land area is used globally. But you know now we're still underutilization, right? You know, but it's used globally for crop production. There are statistics for livestock and other agri activities, but for crop production, it accounts for 12% of the utilization of global land area. Is it clear? And which accounts for what? Which is equivalent to 1.5 billion hectares. So I will ask a question, but I don't want my brother from Roots and those agri-related. That's why I asked to say I want to hear from his measurement and bet of hectares, right? So when we say hectares, can somebody? I don't want you to Google. Just try from your head. Just try. What's the size if you are saying hectares? Because for you to start, you know, we've been talking about smallholder farmers, right? Smallholder farmers. You know, so that you have particular hectares of land for them to be admitted in most of these. So if you want to put it in square meters, yeah? 10,000. Correct, 10,000 square meters. I know you agree this thing, right? Okay, you have tried. Put your hands together for it. So when you have, she said, 100 by 100 meters, that's 10,000 square meters, right? So, but for layman, you go to the interior of Gambia and then you are explaining to somebody who has not gone to school, you said 10,000 square meters. You will not relate, you know? So what we normally do, you know, most people can easily relate. When we talk to peasant smallholder farmers, we give them an idea. Because I remember there was a project we conducted there in the CBN project in Nigeria. So they gave them the form when they were profiling farmers. So everybody fill the number of hectares. You see, one mama will put, I have 20 hectares. Somebody 10, 30 hectares. So when the enumerators went to take the coordinates, they discovered, I thought I was the one because I was chairman of a project management. So I said, let me just visit and see what these people are doing actually. So I now went to, and it was just a small farm at the woman's backyard. And she said, how many did you feed? And she filled 5 hectares. Are you getting it? So now I have to explain, come to her level. So how we do it, we'll come to a level, we'll now say, Mama, you know these your children, they go to play football. So that you will see on TV football. So we say, you see that big field, just to have an idea, that Ronaldo and Messi are playing. You know, so that's an idea to give you. That's standard, not monkey pose. I don't know whether you do monkey pose here. The one that you just put, you know, just few meters and then you play, you know, and stones here and there. No, the standard, right? You know, so that's, I should not say, no, to be sincere, this one is off too. Are you getting it? So the standard football field, you know, to the layman. So as you go maybe back and you start relating to your people, maybe in the interior, in the villages, you know, you can tell them that when they call you to qualify for something, when they mention hectare, that football field, that the entire community, they are playing competition, that the paramount chief will come. They will put goalposts and nets and then put stand. People come to watch, that's it, to give them an idea. I hope it's very clear. You know, so that's just, so imagine 1.5 billion of such standard football field, count them. So that's the number of land utilized for crop globally. I hope it's clear. So on this side, I hope there's no any, around 65% of the entire workforce, it's the same globally. I mentioned just also in Gambia, right? Major, they rely on agriculture. and then also account for 70% of total freshwater withdrawals in the world, mostly irrigated. You see where the disconnect is. The advanced countries, the advanced economies like the China and the US, they rely heavily on irrigation agriculture because of the benefits that is inherent. So they account for, in Africa, you come to Africa, you see we don't even rely on, so irrigation is freshwater withdrawal. So there's a way you withdraw, whether you have maybe a river around you that you pump, maybe all these use massive machine to pump water, interland to water your crop, or you use tube wells and whatever to just take water, surface water or underground water. All the fresh water withdrawal, it accounts for 70%. I hope it's clear. Okay, so, and then another point is 70, this one, irrigated agriculture represents 20% of cultivated land and 40% of global food production. Clear, right? But the only thing that maybe this, you're familiar with wheat and rice, or there's something like pulses, right? Pulses belong to the family of legumes. You have beans, peas, all these things. So forget the word. Like I said, as an insurance company, when we speak globally. So we try to accommodate everything for the assimilation of every person we're talking to. I hope it's clear. So that pulses means family of legumes, beans, and peas, and what have you. I hope it's clear. So can somebody just help me run Africa? After this, the next slide is all. We'll just be running. Then you go for your tea break or something. Okay, so she will help us. Please, mic closer to your mouth. This is Africa.
Agriculture in Africa, it contributes 1/3 of GDP of the continent. It's a source of livelihood for around 770 million people, 2/3 of total population of 1.166 billion.
This is the estimated population of Africa, 1.1 billion, right? And then agriculture takes over 7.
Employs 70% of Africa's total labor force.
That's about 2 tons.
90% of output is from small-scale farmers. Limited access to quality seeds and other inputs.
Okay, as he's talking, so let me explain so that we won't come back again. Small-scale farmers, smallholder farmers, the standard globally acceptable when they're doing programs, they say we are inviting smallholders farmers to support most of this intervention, value chain and what to do. So a smallholder farmer, the person that qualifies to be a smallholder farmer is somebody that owns a minimum between, sometimes we say an acre, but in Nigeria we say so that they will not be bringing small patches of land. So we say from 1 hectare to 5. Right? So anybody that exceeds 5, it has to be on special acceptance. So most of the profiling that we have done, I don't know whether the same you apply here. What do you apply in the Gambia? Smaller. So maybe because in Nigeria you understand. So maybe because it is allowed for you to that fits you. So we say from like I said, we have removed to acre, right? Acre. How many acre means a hectare? Can somebody help? Maybe let me talk to the seasoned person. Okay, what do you use in the Gambia? Is it acre or hectare? Hectare. Like Ghana, they use acre. You know now, Ghana.
Yes, I think the hectare is about 2.4.
There about exactly.
Yeah.
2.4 acres make 1 hectare. So in Ghana, if you go, they are giving you offers. You not be seeing hectares. You hear acre. I hope it's very clear.
Sometimes you may simplify
So now that's standard football field, right? So you just share it like into because 2.4 if you approximate. So let's say we share it into 2. We just add small here, add small there. Are you getting it? Because if I say into 3, it might be less. So I hope it's clear. So that's standard football field. You just share it into like 2. Let's just leave it for layman. Just share it into 2. Is it clear? That's acre. But if you want to do the normal calculation, it's around 2.4. 2.4 thereabout. Is it clear? Acre. So you have to bring 2, 1, 1, and 0.4 size to add to have 1 hectare. So I hope it's clear. Okay. So
bulk of the sector is rain-fed.
You see, we rely heavily on what?
On rain.
The same in Gambia, the same in Nigeria. And then we'll come to all those, we'll do gap. You see the opportunities there. Huh? So let's continue. So we rely heavily. The world mostly, and those big economies and countries, they rely on education. We are relying. So once the rain stop, no farming that year. Everybody will start complaining. There is no food. Food insecurity has resulted in the Gambia. Government should go and import. And then also for learning sake, is a term that has been commonly used. Food sufficiency and food security. Who can try and give? You see presidents talking. We want to guarantee in speeches, ensure that our nation, some use food security. In other speeches, we hear some presidents say food sufficiency. There's a very thin line difference. Can somebody try? Okay, I'm hearing whispering. Just say what is in your mind. You want to try? Oh, so let me give you two. Can somebody try?
Food security, master?
Yeah, food security or food sufficiency. The difference between food security. You see, people use those terms interchangeably, so but they are different.
Self-sufficiency is when you grow your own food that you need to consume. Food security is ensuring you have access to the food you need. In other words, you don't have to grow it. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm.
Have you heard him? Have you heard him? Mr. Bidoye? Okay. Close that. The mic should be
Can
closer.
we blame the mic then?
Yes.
I was saying self-sufficiency is what we are trying to do in the Gambia by growing our own rice by 2030. That is self-sufficiency. Grow what you eat, as the slogan goes. Food security is having access to the food, for example, the imported rice, as long as you're able to afford it. That's the difference. So self-sufficiency is when you produce it yourself. Security is when you have access to it, irrespective of whether you grow it or not. Thank you.
Excellent. I hope it's clear.
Yes.
So in Nigeria, there was a president, he's late now, the president before the current president, he came and they closed the border. And then he said he wants to guarantee food, what? Sufficiency, self-sufficiency. So they ban importation of rice. And the people, saboteurs, those that were importing, as usual, those that were importing started frustrating. I was in that committee, the presidential committee, and literally was paid to tell you how people can be, corruption can go. They pumped in inputs, supported this value chain. They supported farmers. There was glut. But do you know what happened? All those importers, because they have money, for 2-3 years, the presidency, no importation. They will go to him and say, there's no food in the land. Please open border. He will close his eyes. Because he was a military officer. He was very adamant. He said, this is poised to achieve this target and so shall it be. So do you know what they did? They now went, because I was the chairman of the center. There's a state in Nigeria, they call Niger State. Have you been to Nigeria before? Niger. So Niger is the largest state. I think Niger, if put together, it could be larger than the Gambia as a state. So Niger is the only state in Nigeria that houses the 4 major hydro dams that we have in Nigeria. So it sits around the bank of River Niger, surrounded by River Niger and River Benue. So there is a location, they call it the southern part. Mr. Abidoye and the MD would know. There's people called Nupi. They speak Yorubas. They hear themselves. So they farm, they are known for cultivating rice. So there's gap. We'll come to some of the things that we train them. So they pumped in money. The central bank did so much. We trained those farmers on 3 modules: farming as a business, group dynamics, and also gap. These are the 3 modules. And they were so excited because we said we were going to push for food sufficiency and then also for export, right? Do you know what these guys, they waited till the point of harvest? because it was a contract pact that was signed where he flooded in a lot of millers. And what they did was, in each of close to the clusters, they have major modular milling, rice milling, and plants. And you know, what the government did, they accessed, just like the farmer was supported with loan, also those millers were given facility to be able to put in the mill close to the farmers, right? And also there are people that are into logistics and storage. Everybody access facility. But do you know what? The major cross, you know, that our production is the production side, right? So what these guys, they waited. They were quiet. They were not approaching the president because the president was adamant and the CBN governor was adamant, all stakeholders. I saw, do you know that community, because I'm a Christian, to the emir of the community, he's a paramount, he now said, if you're a Muslim, I will give you my daughter to marry. Why? Because I was passionate. I had to go and stay for complete 1 month. You know, because I said we want to change this country. I stayed in a hotel. I was relating, this one is not like you are chairman of a project that you are sending people who they will come to. And the president, he accommodated us. When we come to the capital, we stay at the presidential suite. You know, it's the government house that's presidential. When the president visits, that's where he stays. That's where they are. Everything you need, they'll give you to make you comfortable. Do you know, at the point of harvest, the president visited, you could see large contiguous piece of land, grass. So these guys waited. Do you know what they did? You know, you sign a pact then the agreement for them, for the party, once you harvest, the buyback amount that you pay, that the millers will pay, they call them anchors, is 160 per hectare, 160,000 naira per hectare there. So do you know what those guys did? Farmers, you have already signed agreement because it was official, it was there, I was there. Each chairman, the representative of farmer organization, I went to that, I was so meticulous that this one is not a single document. Everybody signs and I sign as the chairman. Do you know what? I practically was shedding tears. At the point of harvest, they started reaching out to this farmer organization and they started giving them excuses. And they came for central meeting and said, sir, this is what we are facing. I said, let me go. Do you know, I met people that were retirees, that were in government. That was a particular committee. They had a permanent secretary, retired permanent secretary of a state minister of agri. In that because when they approached me, I saw these are very respected people's statement. I said, okay, these people should participate. We approve. So I was talking, they were not listening. Do you know what those guys said? He said, this is a national cake. He said, the politicians sitting in Abuja, they are eating their own. So this is your opportunity. Government gave you input and everything you farm. They're asking you to pay back. And they're eating the billions in Abuja. This is your own national cake. And then those that are willing, they now, you see, so there was this container. Another person, okay, it's a national cake. So those that were sincere, they said they want to pay. Do you know what they now said? They now went to them and said, you agree in contract 160, but in the market that is going for 260, 300, we'll pay. Give it to us. So in the night, these guys will come with truckloads and take from these guys. And then, do you know what? Not even Nigeria, Nigeria. They start taking it out, smuggling it out to Niger, Chad, neighboring, like that. So you see how sometimes when you have this kind of project, it takes, I don't know, Africa. This is just, so that's how, so because of the cry, at the end now, the millers had loan to pay, interest kept on accruing, and then, you see they achieved their distance, so people started crying to me. You said software, they will import rice cheaper. So at the end, before his tenure, he had to just give license again to now ensure that it's food security now, because when you have issue of food security, now, people start protesting, and then election was coming, and they tie it towards election. They will tell you this person is not fit to govern you. So the opposition will capitalize on that. So that was how the borders again were reopened for so I hope with this analogy it's clear the difference between food, self-sufficiency, and food security. I hope it's clear. Anywhere you go, if they ask you, you can answer, right? So, so this most agricultural reliant countries in Africa are these Liberia, Somalia, and then Guinea-Bissau. These are the percentages of, So let's go to. Okay, so this man, his tenure just ended for September. So I said I'll leave it, but next slide we say former. This is a very seasoned African. He's of Nigerian descent, right? He was the former president of African Development Bank, right? He had his last valedictory session in July during the AGM that African Development Bank had in their headquarters in Abidjan. And then we have a new president. His name is Sidita. You can Google it. He's from Mauritania. So he's taken over. So his tenure ended first. But over the past 10 years that he has spent as the president of African Development Bank, he has achieved so much. And then time will not permit. He was former Minister of Agric. That I serve a committee under him. When we come to emerging products, I will mention this. He tasked us to bring a product that serves the people at the lower rungs of life, and we were able to do that. So it's a statement that he has made. Like I used to tell people, there are statements. We always put this because, in Nigeria, I don't know how you say it in the Gambia. There are words that sometimes they say, maybe sometimes when people are discussing and then somebody brings information and says, this information is like a beer parlor talk.
According to Akim Umar Additional, the former president of the African Development Bank, he said by 2030, the size of the food and agri-business in Africa will reach $1 trillion. So, if you are thinking of how to make money, that is a sector to be in. Thank you.
Thank you. So, this statement emanated from the mouth of a celebrated African. He has the data, he has been around the world, he has seen the idea, he has done that. He has seen it all. And this is what he said. That's why in Nigeria, insurance companies that are forward-looking, brokers that are forward-looking, because with the way we are going, I used to tell them when we enter for line managers meeting, I used to tell them with this direction of green revolution and everything, even the oil and gas, Africa, I said agri will take over. Because we are looking at sustainability. These are areas. If you are insured, that's why we said this training is an eye-opener to a lot of people in the Gambia. We had it in Ghana, and now Ghana is open. I had a session. And also, let me commend you. Just to say this, I wanted to say it, maybe I forgot. Please, let's put our hands together for the MD of PICA. And then also, let's put our hands together for the team from UAE. Do you know where I have to say you should do this? I have traveled across the continent for trainings, workshops like this, but without mincing words, this is the best organization that I've seen. Put your hands together once again. Even it shows the credence and importance and value that your people place on agriculture. For us to even have it in this kind of ambience, this kind of facility, and also the organization, you could see people's name tagged to their seat. You could see it shows value that it's been attached to this people. So this is an opportunity for the Gambia. I know you have a very well-established tourism sector, right? But for the benefit of your people. See, let me tell you, that program that we have, I've left Naik for 5 years now. But because of the impact, there is nothing, just like the story that I told you earlier. If you're honest, you are given responsibility. My conscience, you understand, sometimes my mom will tell us that everything you do, if you have a conscience, the conscience will prick you, right? So we were in that presidential committee, we were 16 of us. I've seen we'll come for meetings, and then it's when there is this meeting that has to do with sitting allowance, because after 30 days, your sitting allowance is from day one, everything. And it was, you will have to give it to that person. He made everything comfortable for you to achieve. But do you know, I've seen people that they will not come until there's that meeting for sitting. Are you getting it? You know, so you have to take it. I said you are people that you're honest and you love your nation. This is the time for you to put everything together. Your thinking caps, your resources, your abilities to ensure that this statement, as I'm talking to you, the nations, Nigeria is on course. We have our challenges. But you know, if there's anything that you give it to us, Nigerians, we are go-getters. We want to do something, irrespective of the bad eggs, the few good eggs, right? We'll push. So there are still people like us. So I have left more than 5 years, but do you know the legacy and the impact, you understand, I made when I did that direct, contact with the people that matter is still lingering. And I've seen my joy, because Niger State is predominantly 80% Muslims. I've seen that the governor, I was shocked. After we left a joint continental, the governor was talking, and the commissioner became my friend, Commissioner of Agri. And then we were talking, and he now said, because now they have removed subsidy on pilgrimage, right? Hajj operations. You have to sponsor yourself. 90%. There used to be 90% politicians and government cronies. 90% of those that from that year till date that are going for Hajj operations are farmers. It means farmers now have moved from what? They say, what do you call them? Subsistence, existence to what? Commercial existence. For somebody to enter plane and fly, it means he's comfortable, right? Right? So it's very, very important that you take this statement serious. So that's what they said. So what I told them in Nigeria when I first mentioned, I said, look at this, $1 million trillion. So what's your cut? What's your cut? If the size will come to, you see your performance, right? Next. The efforts that teams like my brother here, effort that you put in, maybe you will be enlisted. So continue to push with time, you join, because we even want 90, our target is to have 90% of this 44, come into show potential semblance of growth. 20 million hectares to 30 million hectares of additional cropland in sub-Saharan Africa available. So you belong to sub-Saharan Africa. You see now that available hectares, 20 million hectares available to 30 for agri cultivation. Water resources are underexploited, scope for considerable surface irrigation potential. We don't do irrigation, but you are around the coastal line, you have a lot of water in the Gambia. But I know your season is timed. Somebody was telling me once July stop, you don't even have me. But in Nigeria, there are some states you can have pocket even in the off season, you see the rain before. But they say until another cycle. So you take advantage of irrigation. And the benefits are quite enormous. So Africa has potential to feed itself and be a significant player in global food value chain. I have mentioned that. So several bodies have pushed for agricultural finances to increase in Africa. We have the World Bank, we have the AFDB, we have the African Union, we have the United Nations Food Agriculture Organization. So these are some of the international bodies supporting growth of agriculture in Africa. Okay, so global, look at it. This is agri. We are doing agri insurance. So this is global agriculture insurance production in USD. So you see where you belong in Africa. Like I said, we are still scratching. But if we keep to this statement and we grow agriculture and we ensure that insurance is being included. The advantage that we have in Nigeria, most policies now of government and initiative is compulsory. Because insurance, I used to tell them, is the most tangible, verifiable, seeable risk management option that you have, right? I said we want you to sell insurance to manage your risks. You know, so now we have seen the reason, and thank God we have people that go into mainstream governance that understand this. Imagine we have Mr. Momo here, maybe at that level. There's no way MD of Pecan will tell him that this program, please, we want insurance to go in and start arguing, because he knows the benefit, right? So now it has become a policy direction. You know, there's a problem if it's not captured when the thing was conceptualized. That's where mostly issue. You come after they finish everything, they're about to launch, you say, after thought, Mr. Barrow, you didn't come on time. There's no insurance. So what we normally do, those of you that are into broking, the insurance, marketers, you are here, put your ears to the ground. Go to these offices once they are about to, maybe the president just made a statement or somebody visited him and said, we want to do that direction. And first, because it's possible that at that level, the minister, they will not even think of insurance, right? So, but you are the person that will go and say, we insure, and use your influence and connection to ensure that insurance is bonded in that policy or initiative. So look at the world. You know, this is South America. And you know, we mentioned, if you remember when we said the biggest, North America, the biggest producers, we mentioned China, India, and US. Insurance production in terms of this premium income. Look at it, 13.5 billion. And then it followed next by what? Asia is even higher. Asia is higher. So Asia has China and what? India. And what? And India. So they are bigger. So Asia, there we have 0.14. Then North America and Europe. You can see Europe. This is Europe there, and then this South America, and then this is the Pacific, and then also see Africa. See where you belong.
0.5.
That's $500 million. And you know this 500 million, South Africa accounts for almost 60-something% of that premium income. So you see the breakdown. Even Nigeria, we are pushing, but we thank God we have found our footing and it's growing. At least we could see its traction. Then usually it was that naive that is writing, but now the sector has been balkanized, licenses have been issued, and then so many, we have companies that are writing, and brokers are coming in also to support. You know, I hope you are okay with this slide, right? This premium income, to tell you the volume of, so we are still behind. We are the least, performing in terms of agri, but we have considerable potential, right, for growth. Okay, so this actually, because of time, the breakdown, so you can see the performance. You see, I mentioned Gambia is not there, but with time we'll put Gambia. By the time you start writing, you mentioned what WFP, right? We supported that your project with African Risk Capacity. Yeah. You know, remember Sandile? Sandile operates from South Africa. So, but they got sovereign whoever from AU to come and play your market. But we have players. Sometimes when I say, are you sitting in South Africa? Are you know, so but we have, with this training, going forward, with the brokers and everything, work together to ensure, that premium stay back and not, we don't want premium flight, right? So these are the breakdown of premium. You can see South Africa. Look at the total, 335, right? Million. You know, I said it's 500 million. So these are the few countries that account. You know, everything, that 500 is everything across Africa. So we just pick the major. And then look at what South Africa takes from these three, 150. See Nigeria, 10 million USD. But this is as at 2024, early 2024. Huh? So the statistics by now, with what we are seeing in the Nigerian market, we have moved. Huh? Okay, so I hope it's clear. Huh? Okay, so let's move. Okay, in starting, I mentioned the territories that I play, right? I said I cover Anglophone what? West Africa. But West Africa, we have up to like 13, right? Or 14 countries if you put the Cape Verde and what have you, right? Is it 14 or 16? 16. Yeah. So, but these are the Anglophone that I'm responsible. So you can see Nigeria, followed by Ghana, Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone. So you see the performance in terms of GDP. I will run through to the Gambia. You know, so you can see Nigeria. Like I said, these slides are relatable. You see the performance in terms of GDP as at year 2024. But Nigeria has rebased because of the valuation. It has slightly fallen in 2025. But this is the GDP, this is our population, and this is agri contribution to GDP. So just take 10%, take 24% of this, and tell me what agri contribution is about 100 and something billion dollars, right? So it's massive. So that's why I said in Nigeria we kept on pushing. We said there's so much in agriculture, but the insurance have not. So imagine you have even 1% of that 104 there about billion dollars. Imagine the premium income. You are doing 1% penetration of these activities. You know what GDP is, right? I don't want to go. Those from the bank. My friend from the bank, please can you just explain to us GDP just in a layman term?
GDP is the gross domestic product of the economy in terms of agriculture and also in terms of the performance in finance and also in the banking, insurance, only financial sector. So the total production for the country represents the GDP.
Correct. Put your hands together for it. So when you are measuring GDP, so you measure GDP, the production in monetary terms, right? And the economy is measured, right? So that's what it means. So in all these measures, agri accounts for in Nigeria 24%. So these are the major crops grown in Nigeria, and these are the major agri funding supports. You know, but since I'm not talking to you, please let me just move to the next. Okay, so you can see Ghana. I told you can see Ghana. Ghana, this is their population, this is their GDP. To tell you that Nigeria is a very large economy, because the agri contribution of Nigeria, that 24% is larger than the entire GDP of Ghana put together. Because if you do 24% of this, you said somebody press, I saw somebody, it's like 100 and something, right? 130? 130, right? $1 billion. So look at Ghana. Their entire GDP is 73. So agri contribution to Nigerian GDP is 113 billion. So it's actually massive. So this is Liberia. Okay. So I'll give you the slide. You look at it, right? So if you have somebody brokers, you have this. You want to go to this market. These are opportunities there. So, but let me go to the Gambia, right? Okay, this is the Gambia. So those of you that are data up to date, this source from the World Bank 2024. This is where your population is, 2.4 million, and then this is your GDP, and this 18%. That's the information. I don't know whether you have grown in 2024. It's showing 18% contribution to agriculture. Major, what we saw tourism contribute a lot, all right? And this is it. So these are support that you have in the Gambia. Who knows this giraffe? Is giraffe still in existence in 2024? Right. Okay. Gambian what? Inclusive and resilience, value what? Change, agricultural development, right? I've tried, right?
Yes.
So, but this time around we will go on jet speed. We have a lot to cover. So, if you have the program outline, the next topic we're looking at is value chain agriculture opportunity for insurance practitioners that could help the farmer or any other person in that ecosystem to benefit from that activity. So governments have to start thinking inward, and with support of international support agencies. Agriculture, began to, grow in the light of looking at other opportunities that are inherent in whatever type of crop that you are looking at. So we're looking at value chain agriculture opportunities for insurance practitioners. So I'd like to know here, those that are seated, if you're representing an insurance company here, you work with an insurance or anything you do that is connected
to insurance. You're broking, you're a technical service provider, or you work in an institution maybe related, there's a department, because I had someone came and said he's from Department of Insurance, I think CBA, right? Yeah, department, okay. So I would like to know, just for just knowing sake, I'm not going to ask you any question. We have insurance, I've seen here Takafu. So let me just wait. I tell you, it's only two that are related to insurance. Okay, so virtually almost 90% have something to do with insurance, right? Okay, good. So that's my point. So like I said, we're going to move on a jet-like speed. First, we're going to look at, understand what agricultural value chain is. Then we'll look at we will identify the risks and opportunities at each stage. Because it's like a chain. You know the chain that you normally use to leash your domestic dog at home, right? It has connectors, right? You know what the chain is, right? There are different compartments, and then there's a connector that brings the compartments together, right? Just like my finger, right? So you're going to look at all the compartments that form what a chain is. So we explore insurance solutions tailored for agriculture, and then inspire innovation in insurance product design. There are lots that we'll cover. Tomorrow, there are emerging, we have the conventional, traditional product that we have, but in the light of climate change, there are complaints. You see weather patterns, climatic patterns have changed, and then we have to think outside the box. Huh? And then we have emerging products that serve or tailor towards most of these climate realities. Huh? So we're going to look at that. Then questions, but the question will put everything together is a video and take them later, right? Okay, so like I said, I would like to, you help me, I would like to do this thing under maybe 20 minutes, so we'll go to another topic and then like that. So we'll cover and then we'll finish off good time, then we'll go and have a rest.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rohi Emba, representing Radville Farms.
Okay. So what do you do in Radville Farms? What do you grow?
Well, we grow everything. We're into, yes, the agricultural value chain. But so equally, I do my own thing. I have a poultry with a horticultural garden.
That's good. That's good. So tomorrow we're going to have a session dedicated to poultry. After that session, if you will take poultry, like we say in Nigeria, side hustle, you'll be doing another thing, but you must, because that session, even me, anytime I go, I remember I did for about 3 companies in Nigeria. So the MD now said, no, I want to bring the board of directors. They brought all the board I did. So, in Nigeria, I don't know whether in Gambia you are allowed to, apart from your, usually in civil service, you are not permitted to do business. You are dedicated. But if it's agriculture, you are allowed to. So you can work there. That's why if you check when I was with the government, every year we fill the Court of Condor Bureau form. They will bring it. So what I observe, that's why most politicians you see that you will always see them that apart from they will put farm. So they leave government and they ask you, this money, we know how much you earn while you're in government. Where did you? And I say, proceed from my farming activities. So because it's allowed. So you can, that's why most of these generals that you see them, their own farms. And they're doing very well. Our former president too has the biggest, President Obasanjo, he has the biggest farm. I think one of the biggest in Africa. Okay, so look at it. So when we say value chain, we are looking at, I mentioned about something that what we major before, traditionally, we know is the production side. Growing the crop on the field, right? Or you're rearing your cattle, or whatever, poultry in your pens or your stable or whatever. You understand? So that's how limited. But now we are looking at it beyond that. You can see from this picture, you can relate now. This is farm to where? Farm to market. So we say the chain is not completed until that it hits them out. Because at the market, it's still at the market until the consumer or somebody goes there, right? Take it to the table. So we say from fork to table, or farm to table, or whatever. So you can see now. So, but I intentionally put there because we actually have to go down, drill down, and then said there are other opportunities. Pre-production, there are opportunities for you to make money. if you are giving definition. So look at this now. There are things that if you have to take home, don't forget this thing. We said it's a range of what? Complete range of activities. So it's complete, holistic range of activities, actors. So for it to be complete, there must be activity, there must be players, actors, and then what? And processes involved in bringing what? An agricultural product from its conception. From its conception at the farm to its final use by what? By the consumer. With what? Value added at what? Each stage. So you know, in Africa, why the reason why we missed it, even those of countries that were growing cocoa, palm, and fruits, rubber, and the rest, you know, they were producing, and most times cloth setting, and most times they don't know what to do. In Nigeria, it happened. You know, there's one called, when Obasanjo came, there's what he did. He said backward integration. Backward integration, those of us that have studied economics, you know what it means, that they ensure that the manufacturer has a link with the source of his raw material. Because if you are not careful as a manufacturer, you have, just like the way I mentioned, that's why if you see now, companies now, because of that experience that they had in that anchor borrower, most of these millers that are doing backward integration, they have their farmers. Not this one that you give money to the farmer and then you sign a contract that he should supply you paddy. And then at the point of harvest, the farmer, somebody will come and say, this guy is cheating you now. I will give you, are you getting it? So he has control. That's backward integration. The source of his raw material, he's involved in that conversation at that level. So that at the end of the day, he's guaranteed that he has whatever he needs to. He has the paddy to mill to the rice, right? The Uncle Ben's rice or whatever rice that he wants to grow. So that's it. So it has to be, there must be value added, and this encompasses all stages, including, you see now here, I added something, pre-production. Pre-production, production itself, processing, storage, transportation, marketing, and sales, up to the final consumer. So the opportunities, so it's not restricted, you know, to only production that we used to know. So there are opportunities across the chain. So you now agree that agriculture now is the chain, right? Because now, remember, it's now that I went to Ghana, I observed most of the things, even if they visit us for renewal meetings, they always come with chocolate. Before, it was just last 2-3 years we started seeing Ghanaians. Before the cocoa, they will ship the cocoa out. But because of this value chain mentality and initiative that the government is putting, yes, we encourage export, but we need to grow, add value, and make money. Because they can give you stipends and take the cocoa seed and then go and process the chocolate and bring and make people of money from it. You understand? So that's what we're talking, the mango, all those juice you see.
But this is what is downplaying our economy.
Yes.
Raw materials are taken from here,
you?
Processed and brought back again.
And then you pay more than.
Sometimes I wonder what how our policy makers, how they are thinking. For us to be food self-sufficient, it's very easy.
Yes.
Provided certain factors are put under control.
Yes.
Yes. One thing is in the Gambia, this pre-production stage, Gambians have the land, they have the water, but they don't have the farm equipment. All the equipment you see in the Gambia here, they are imported from China and so forth. When there are Gambians here, that can even fabricate tractors, multi-purpose tractors, but nobody is paying attention to them. They are just considered illiterate people. Knowledge is gift. It's not from European perspective or Arabic perspective. Gambians are here that can manufacture farm tools. If they are supported, they will produce enough for the Gambian farmers to produce. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very, very important point. And also, see, I'm even happy that this thing is eliciting, debate and conversations. That's why we're here. We are just here to reawaken the giant that's in all of you. And we are saying we have done it across the continent. That's even my joy. I know I work in an office that they're doing well and they're comfortable, but the most important thing is at the end of the day, when I go back or I have conversation, I hear, okay, after the training, this is what you understand, the tractions that we're seeing. So you want to say something?
Just to add up to the brother what he said, because if you see in the Gambia, most of the farmers, why they have not paid into it, because they are not being supported from the grass. I can, in 1980s, in Basse, pile of cotton were being exported, but now cotton in the Gambia now have phased out. You can see, because they will keep on the farm for the rest of 3 months, 4 months, they will not. You can see pests will attack their crops, and at the end of the day, that's why most of them are discouraged now. That's why you see now they all move into business. Now they are forgetting agriculture, because if you think about Jahari Pacha, by now that place should be food self-sufficiency, but there are not no tools, no equipment. That is the only thing they need. They have to strategize and see a way forward to support the farmers from the grassroots upward. Thank you.
Thank you. So I hope we are taking, MD, UAB, I think there should be maybe a sort of community, right? After this, yeah. So we should take note because of this information and that we're getting, so that at least to the policy makers, right? We thank God we have Ministry of Agri, we're here, CBN, so there will not be just a conversation in this room and you end here. Thank you so much. So like I said, so now this slide covers a lot. It's just summary, so I'll just run through. So you have seen all the various contributors to the chain, right? So we now said there must be, before I mentioned production, but I said now there is an opportunity for what? Investment and even insurance pre. So you can see the pre now. So you see now, we have seed suppliers. For example, we'll come to fill on the writing and gap. So I like to use rice because rice is a common staple crop across Africa. So anywhere I go and I mention rice, you know there's some series that if you call there, people will not understand. So but we see rice is eaten everywhere, right? So I normally use rice as an example to go. You want to say something?
Yes, in regards to the distribution and retail. Yes.
Okay, so when we get to that, maybe you make
We're yet to read there.
Yeah, so I will just run.
Okay, it's coming this way.
Yes, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. So because this one is not exhausted, so if you even have something that can go in, you understand it from the pre. So you see now, if you want to grow, for the farmer that wants to grow rice, right? You have, I explained about hectares earlier, right? So you have your 1 hectare, maybe just smallholder farmer 1 hectare, and then you have the land, you see your land, and you know that the land is fertile to grow rice. But you can't just grow rice, you need something to put on ground. And most of this one, maybe the seed they're using, they are not improved certified seed that will give you the yield. I told you Nigeria, the reason why these people had money that they started traveling, what they were making, that the traditional method, which you are going to do of growing rice, that they will give them maybe 0.5 ton or high as 1 ton for 1 hectare. So when they went into GAP, which we are going to look at GAP, they started getting 6, 7. So imagine money that you're using GAP to grow your rice. So you need those certified. But there are people that supply it. Are you getting it? So at that pre-stage, before you start the production, you need to consult or visit these suppliers and you need them. If you then have them in the Gambia, this is an opportunity for government to give, you understand, licenses or whatever that is needed for people that can invest at this level. I hope it's clear. We have seed suppliers in Nigeria. We have seed manufacturers in Nigeria. There are licenses. Like even in Nigeria, there's a body under Ministry of Agri. They call it, my wife works there, she's a research fellow with them. Nigeria National Agricultural Seed Council, NACS. They're under the domicile under Federal Ministry of Agri. You know in Nigeria, the Ministry of Agri has the highest number of parastatal. Parastatal under the Ministry of Agri at some point, they were almost close to 30-something because the value that the government attaches to. So what they do in that office, because my wife, they do research on modern, you understand, improvement, fortified seed and what have you. And then they ensure that the right people are licensed to grow. Because if you don't have the right seed, you won't have the right result. And if you don't have the healthy seed, it will invariably affect, you understand. If you have a contaminated seed that you grow, it will affect the people that are eating it, right? You know, so that's it. So the opportunity, we have fertilizer suppliers, we have irrigation implements. We are talking about encouraging people to go into irrigation, right? That why? Because you know why irrigation agriculture is the best? Because the everything that is required, the factor that will really lead to success rests with the farmer, not rainfed that you say is God. You understand? Because if you want to do irrigation, you must have a stable source of water that will you guarantee. If you are doing growing paddy rice, that you have the farrow, assuming you are using farrow 44, they have a minimum of 90 days to maximum of 120 days. So you are sure to must have water that can sustain that farm for 3 months minimum, right? So you see that water issue, you can't come and be telling insurance company that you have drought because you are doing irrigation. So because that's the condition, you have to show a source of water. Except maybe something happened naturally that the source, the tube well, or whatever the pit now dried up. Insurance, are you getting it? And then you can't come and say you have excess rainfall, that flow results there and destroy your farm. Because you are the one to apply the right quantity. They say put in the morning and also in the evening. So you see now the factor for success. So mostly what we're even concerned are pests and bird infestation at the point of harvest, etc. Is it clear? So and that's another opportunity. So in Nigeria, because of that government value chain program, the people are opportunities. Do you know this? Even to give back to my community, this one minister from my side, and once she got to know that because she had the heart of the people, she loves the people, and she now said, what can we do? Please, she gathered and sponsored everything, feeding. They gathered the community in one football field, put all the address system. I went there because we had everything for them to do. Arise. They were every day they would complain. We want to plan the rate now this thing, even insurance company. So we had to start reculturing them. You understand? Cultural shift, that's how they now move to. And everybody now comfortable because there is a very big stream in that community. So what she did, she put a very massive machine that will pump and they build the canals. So that's her contribution. She said she's tired because she told me that these people, I've left government more than 10 years ago. But my house, they will come to Abuja and call me, my wife is the one to give back. This thing, you know politicians, the thing they face. So with that program, she said, this thing that we have done, we have saved. She told them in that meeting, she said, I will give you the machine that some of you will pick the water from that large canal to your 1 hectare. So nobody should call me. Servicing in a foil, you know how to. You send your children to school. And that's how everybody now. The economy has revamped and nobody, even me, the rate of people calling you for help has drastically, because everybody is empowered. Are you listening? Yes. Because I want to reawaken this thing. You can help. It's not this training is not just centered around here, but you can go back and see how you can. So you can see the opportunities. Look at it. So let's go to production. Production now, you have the farmer, right? Cultivating. We have commodity association. So sometimes maybe farmers will be unable as individual. Maybe World Bank will now say in that community, we need 1,000 contiguous pieces of land. And because of this land system in the village, inherited, my grandfather left this one. But that 2 hectares will not qualify him to participate. But they can come under what we call commodity association or cooperatives, right? Okay, so they will put themselves. So, and these lands are joining each other. They have 1,000. So they will come under cooperative. So what we normally do, we train the average because of control. We said, we normally say that each cooperative should not have more than 20 or 25. And then you appoint your chairman, you appoint your secretary, you look for someone that is learning that can read and write, secretary and document. And then most of these programs that they access, that's why I said that program was excellent. And the loan is zero collateral. Zero collateral. Do you know the collateral? The collateral is cross guarantee. So one thing I told them, I said, you are the ones, me, I don't come to the village because my dad is not, before he passed away, he was a city, but he helped, you understand? So the best we can do for you is those that are like-minded. When you say you're a cooperative, is it not like-minded you bring? Will you go and bring somebody that will steal your money and go? You say you're a cooperative, you want to work together. So you form 25. The ones that are literate retirees, they do their own. The church women, the mosque women, you understand. So you form up to 1,000, and then now we will not submit your name. You know that what cross guarantee means?
If something happens, that your group, one defaulted, have all defaulted, you have to ensure that that money is returned. That's what cross guarantee, because you agree and sign at the beginning. So I was having a training and somebody asked me a very brilliant question. Very brilliant, but he wanted to play smart. He now said, okay, you're saying this is cross guarantee. What if you have a member that died? So what happened? So I now had to sit down, look at him. I said, yes, I said, you was not sure. You say, you don't catch me. You know the way they say in Nigeria. I said, you say you are like minds, right? There is a purpose for why you came together. It's for a just cause. You want, at the end of the day, for you to empower yourself, to plant and then harvest. And then death is natural. Did the person now, when he joined, tell you that in the next 2-3 days, I will die? He just came, he fell sick, and then eventually passed on, right? He has family, he has a wife, he has people connected. If indeed, like you said, you are like minds, you love him like the way you do, that is 1 hectare that is part. You are 25, you are 24. If you are working on your farm, you can agree that we will put our heads together and ensure that we sustain, to ensure that farm gets to harvest, right? And when it's harvested, because already there is a buyer, the proceeds can be given to his wife or his family, and then you are free from. Is it clear? And I said that's how we advise them to do. So when somebody dies, you put yourself together, put your heads together, and ensure that that farm thrives to the point of harvest, and then the payment is given back to whoever is providing the loan. I hope it's clear. Yeah. So that's what for farmer cooperatives production. So the next, if you now, after production, there's harvest. Another critical issue that farmers are facing in Africa is this post-harvest handling issue. After you harvest, what next? To move it to the farm, you see, you understand, and money, and then we have to keep it, how to clean it, how to sort it, how to store it. You understand? So at this stage, that training that given, and that people that can function in, they are not supplying fertilizer, they are not even growing the crop, but they can provide stores, they can provide at a mega small amount. You see opportunities. Okay, so to help you to clean it, to sieve it, to store it for you. And even in the village, you can provide, this is an opportunity for me. During harvest time, I'll just drive down my truck or my pickup and help and move from the farm for them to the store. You see opportunities, right? So even these opportunities are actual insurance. So as we're talking now, me, I'm an agri insurance. Those of you that are in property insurance, you are seeing, at least from here, you can deduce the kind of products that, I have some suggestions, but product that can easily fit in. You understand? Even from here, now storage, property fire can go, right? Yes. Transportation, GIT can go. You see the opportunities that are inherent in the chain, than waiting and then covering only the peril that the production. And what we cover at production are these natural disasters I mentioned, right? The flood, we have already mentioned that. So let's move. The next one is, after handling, now it goes to the millers, right? They come in now, the people that are milling now. You see, we are looking at value addition, add-ons. Now from the paddy, you know what paddy rice is? Well, I've been saying paddy. Well, from the value chain here, can somebody help and explain in layman Gambia what paddy is?